United States Senator Tom Cotton. Good morning, Senator. Welcome.
Good morning, Hugh. It's good to be on with you.
I must say I've spent most of the morning undoing historical damage done to the collective American memory by comparisons of Sally Yates to the Saturday Night Massacre. It's so awkward and irresponsible to compare the two. I won't bother you with that. I want to get to the main show, which is tonight at 8 p.m. The president's going to announce a Supreme Court nominee. How quickly do you expect the Senate to get to a decision as to whether or not the Reid rule will have to be invoked?
Well, Hugh, let me just go back to that first point, because I have to say Ms. Yates' statement yesterday was, I thought, preening and grandstanding.
Yep.
She said nothing in her statement about the legal basis for President Trump's refugee pause, which was reviewed by the Office of Legal Counsel, which is the main lawyer for the executive branch, under her jurisdiction. If she felt so strongly as a matter of policy, she should have resigned. She should not have undertaken an unprecedented grandstanding position, and I'm glad that President Trump relieved her, and I'm glad to be one of the 12 Republicans who voted against her nomination 2 years ago.
It was, and it's got nothing to do with Saturday Night Massacre, in which General Richardson and Deputy Attorney General Ruckelshaus had testified to the Senate and sworn to them they would not fire the special counsel, but Nixon's order was legal, so they did the right thing, which was resign, and Bork fired her and stayed on the advice of Richardson to do so. I mean, it's got nothing to do, but there was such incredible historical ignorance yesterday, Senator Cotton, that it made me think, I weep for the Fourth Estate. They're just stupid. They're just dumb stupid.
Maybe we're seeing the wages of not teaching sound American history to a generation of special snowflakes who have gone on to be bloggers and correspondents.
Absolutely, and I think Dr. Larry Arnn, our mutual friend, has got to run seminars for journalists. Like he used to run the Publius Fellows and the various fellowships out there. He's got to start doing that for journalists because the stupidity was overwhelming.
Not a bad idea. He does it for congressional staffers. My staff has spent a day over at the Kirby Center learning more about the foundations of America and how our constitutional system has developed over 2 centuries.
It would take a special patience with journalists, though.
But speaking of that system, and back to your main question about the Supreme Court, I look forward to the nominee announcement tonight. In the past Supreme Court nominations, you have taken between, I think, 45 and 75 days to fully review and confirm. Obviously, this is a very big decision, the most important kind of confirmation we have, because it's a lifetime appointment, and it's at the Court of Final Appeal. I am confident that we will confirm the president's nominee, whoever he or she may be. I don't think that there are a lot of Democrats who are in states like Missouri and Indiana and North Dakota that Donald Trump won handily that want to oppose what I expect will be a nominee who will faithfully apply the Constitution and the law as it's written, and then have to face their voters next year. So I'm confident that we're going to confirm the president's nominee.
The Easter recess of the court is April 7th, and the final sitting of the year 2 weeks later. If the judge, and that leaves between 67 and 75 days to get through this, and I expect Senator Sessions will be judicious and rapid, because we would like to get him on in time for the First Amendment, the Free Exercise Clause case that's coming up, that is so seminal. And there are a lot of 4-4 cases up there that need a fifth judge to come along after no hearings, no votes. I just had a caller who was his student at Duquesne, where he taught, and he assures me, I want to put your mind at ease on this because I know it's a concern to you, he demonstrated no overt hostility or prejudice towards Browns fans, though he is in fact a Steelers fan, and it wears black and gold proudly. Also a fantastic teacher and a wonderful person. But I'm actually betting Gorsuch is the nominee tonight, with a sleeper being Willett. Do you have any predictions, Senator Cotton?
I don't have a prediction. Donald Trump has said he will select from his list of judges released last year, which I thought was a very fine list. And as you said, the Easter recess of the court and then the final sitting is probably a good target date for us. It's about 60 days, which is right center mass, and at the time period these things have taken the past. That would allow the new justice to participate in those oral arguments and then decide those cases, minimizing the number of cases that might be held over for re-argument in the fall. And, the Congress is in session all but 1 week between now and the week of Easter. So I hope that we can resolve the matter and get the nominee on the court by that Easter recess. I mean, this is exactly what the Republicans did with Justice Sotomayor and Justice Kagan at the outset of President Obama's tenure in 2009 and 2010.
Let me ask you, Senator Cotton, about the Congressional Review Act. Todd Gaziano of the Pacific Legal Foundation was on yesterday, as was David McIntosh, telling me there is an aggressive interpretation of the CRA, one that goes back further than 60 legislative days, but which in fact captures any rule, regulation, or policy for which no report was filed. Do you agree with that aggressive interpretation? Is that a conversation within the Senate caucus?
Hugh, on its face, the Congressional Review Act does appear not to start ticking until either 60 days have expired or a report has been submitted. So I can tell you we're actively going through the last 8 years of regulations to identify which ones lacked reports and what we might do to overturn those regulations that are hurting our small communities and creating or holding back our economy.
And who is leading that effort? I'm very curious as to, is there a quarterback, we got 15 seconds, who is actually figuring out which ones are eligible?
The members of the class of 2014 are actually all working together very carefully to try to identify the regulations that we can use the Congressional Review Act to overturn.
Extraordinary good news. Senator Tom Cotton, always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you, Senator. Stay tuned, America. Robert Costa fills us in on all things Supreme Court next on The Hugh Hewitt Show.